Hello and welcome back to the channel, where in today's video it's another Doctor Who review, this time of the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, which came out almost 10 years ago now. Yes, all the way back in 2013 when Matt Smith was the current Doctor and David Tennant had returned for the first time since departing the show in New Year's Day of 2010, and now 10 years later, David Tennant's going to be back for the 60th and as the newest incarnation of the Doctor before Ncuti Gatwa takes over. So, the 50th anniversary. I have mixed feelings about this episode, even after this rewatch, because I remember watching it that night, when it aired, back, 10 years ago, at the ripe old age of 15. And I remember, you could have gone to see it in cinema as well. It was this big monumental thing, it was the show's 50th anniversary, so of course they're going to splurge a bit and have you be able to go see it in cinema like they did with Everything Changes, the Torchwood Series 1 episode. That did show up in cinema, But yeah, I loved it when it came out. I was blown away by it. I thought it was a great episode. It was the best Stephen Moffat episode that he had written at that point, because it was at this point, into the third year into the Moffat era, that I was feeling Moffat fatigue. Thinking that a lot of this stuff that was coming out at that time for Doctor Who wasn't the greatest. And, 10 years on, I am singing a completely different tune. 11 years ago, I hated Series 6 of Doctor Who. I now have a better appreciation now. The same with Series 7. I absolutely hated Series 7. It's actually not as bad as I remembered it. But the 50th anniversary of the show is I have a completely different tune to it. Whilst, yes, I did enjoy it on this rewatch, there was a lot of parts that I did like. There's a lot of parts that I don't like about the 50th anniversary. So we'll get into that. The key thing that I really don't like about the 50th anniversary, and I don't know why they picked this to be the main villain of the 50th anniversary, and that is the Zygons. Whilst, yes, it's the first time that the Zygons have been seen since classic Doctor Who, it also shouldn't have been the monsters that the three Doctors fight for the 50th anniversary. Again, I was happy to finally see the Zygons show up in modern Doctor Who, because they have had mentions in the past, but having it as the villains for this monumental achievement in the show's history, to have them as the villain is not a good choice. It really shouldn't have been the Zygons. It should have been a more iconic villain, like the Daleks. Now, the Daleks do show up in this episode, a few times, because we see the fall of Arcadia, the last day of the Time War, and so there are some Daleks in this story, but they're not the main focus. The focus is more geared towards the Zygons for the first 40 minutes of this special, and it sucks. The other thing that I really don't like about this episode is the fact that the Doctor, Stephen Moffat, essentially undoes what Russell T Davies did. Being, Russell early on in his when the show came back, it was established that, there's the great big Time War, the Time Lords are no more, the Doctor is the last of the Time Lords, and, season 9 and season 1 and season 1 to season 4 was the Doctor, you know, getting over that, coming to terms with that, you know. But Moffat, for whatever reason, he decided he was going to undo that and have Gallifrey be a thing again, only for, you know, Chris Chibnall to undo what Moffat done in the 50th anniversary. I think that it should have been just the three doctors, the John Hurt Doctor, the 10th Doctor, and Matt Smith's Doctor, destroying Gallifrey together, and that be that. Don't have the Time Lords come back. But again, thinking that, it's writing me into a corner with this, because the Time Lords, you know, with them coming back, they do play a major pivotal part, like with the next episode after this, Matt Smith's final episode, being you know, the name of the Doctor, or the time of the Doctor, whatever the fucking of the Doctor it is, where he's you know, the Time Lords give him the new 13 regenerations. If the Time Lords were destroyed, that couldn't have happened. And then again, with it's having the Time Lords show up in series 9, and having them be destroyed in series 12, and then finding out about the Timeless Child. All of that couldn't happen if Moffat didn't destroy the Time Lords. And that's why, as I mentioned in the end of my Series 7 review, of how I wished Clara had stayed dead in the end of Series 7, because that should have been her ending. My thoughts of that being her ending doesn't matter, because she plays a pivotal part, not only in this episode, you know, being the one saying that she doesn't believe that it's her Doctor, the 11th Doctor, was capable of destroying all his planet, and that led into him saving the planet. And then, of course, in the next episode, it's because of Clara talking to the Time Lords, saying that, you know, you've got it wrong, his name is the Doctor, and if you loved him, you'd help him, and that resulted in him getting his 13 new regenerations. So, as much as I would love for Clara to have not been continued on after Series 7, she and the Time Lords do play a pivotal role moving forward from this episode. Because if it wasn't for that, the Doctor would have fell on Translore, and then that would have been, you know, the circle is complete, and all of that. And then we'd have no show past that. But there is a lot that I did enjoy, and I know essentially gone on an 8.5-minute rant on the two big things about this story that I did not like. But time for some stuff that I really did like about this. You know, Matt Smith, again, really, really good. Kind of flanderized of his character traits. David Tennant, you know, it was the first time he came back to the show since his departure, was amazing. I still find it funny that there's a lot of fangirls that were really, really upset over the fact that his hair looked like it did in season 2, before it became, you know, all spiked up and all that, and not realizing that is because he was contractually forced to have it that way. That's why when they went on the Graham Norton show just before the episode came out, he had that ponytail because he was filming something that required him to have his hair that way. I still find it fucking funny that a lot of the fangirls got major butthurt over that. It didn't bother me. It's still David Tennant. He still performed absolutely amazingly in this story, and yeah, I have nothing against that. And I had, you know, loved his interactions with not only Matt Smith and the War Doctor, you know, harking back to the first multi-Doctor story, the Three Doctors, but not as argumentative as, you know, the second and the third Doctor, which I would have loved to see more of, because I love the arguments between the second and the third Doctor. I loved that. I would have loved to see it in with Matt and David's Doctor, because it would have been 10 times more funnier. But you know, the Doctor can't always argue with himself. I do love the fact that he makes a comment like the second Doctor did, saying, "Oh, you've redecorated. I don't like it." You know, call back to the Three Doctors, the first anniversary special. Also, I suppose that there is one more thing that I completely forgot to mention, that I did on rewatch that I did not like, is the War Doctor's TARDIS being literally just the you know, I can actually pull it off here, being this followed by roundels and in white, you know, was kind of lazy. But then again, you know, it's low budget sci-fi. They probably used their budget on a lot of stuff, because there was a scene from you know, in the Black Archives, you know, when Clara realizes that Kate Stewart does come back in this, that she's a Zygon, and there's this really gross, grotesque transformation done, pretty good. I think they did it, you know, when the Zygon showed up in Classic Who, but it didn't look all that creepy. You know, the special effects weren't there. Seeing it now, have them do that, it was really, really creepy and really, really well done. And of course, the late great John Hurt as the War Doctor, technically Doctor Number 9, but we all just effectively refer to him as the War Doctor. Absolutely amazing. I loved him. I really, really loved him, because he brought the classic feeling of classic Doctors into the story, you know, giving out to his future incarnations about constantly pointing the sonic screwdriver, saying that they're not water pistols, and what are you going to do, assemble a cabinet at them? It was absolutely fantastic. I really, really, really loved his interpretation of the Doctor. I absolutely loved it. I cannot sing his praises more. And I suppose we should talk about the other elephant in the room, you know, about the 50th anniversary, and that is Tom Baker showing up as the curator. I mean, I remember getting to that point when this episode aired 10 years ago and losing my absolute mind, because in case you don't know and you're new to my channel, I absolutely love and adore Tom Baker. He, to me, is the best Doctor in all of Doctor Who. He is the Doctor, you know. And when he showed up as the curator, I absolutely lost my mind, as I'm sure many of fans did. Those that know of classic Doctor Who, that's delved into classic Doctor Who, that possibly even grew up watching Tom Baker, having him come back as a future version of the Doctor was just absolutely amazing. I was so surprised at how well that secret was kept. Like, that blew my mind. But yeah, as a story, as the hour and so minutes story, it's not the greatest for the 50th anniversary of the show. It focuses too much on the Zygons that aren't an iconic part of the show. And I still don't like the fix of making Gallifrey being saved at the end of the Time War. Also loved, you know, the fact that, you know, at this point, you know, Peter Capaldi had been cast as the next Doctor, and then we got to see a brief moment of him, even though it was just, you know, his crazy eyebrows. But still, that was something that was amazing to see, because we weren't expecting that. But yeah, like I said, I did enjoy my rewatch of it, and there is something that I noticed a while ago on some other rewatch. If you look at Matt Smith's talking when they're talking to the council and that of Gallifrey, and he's talking about how he's seen how Gallifrey burn and he doesn't want to do it again. I'm sure I'll have inserted a scene or even a screenshot or something. If you look closely on the TARDIS desktop, you see the script. So that's a bit of a whoopsie, and it's in there for several scenes. So it's, you know, it's a bit of a major whoopsie, but still, as the 50th anniversary goes, it's good, but over time, I've liked it less and less. And comparing it to the 3 other anniversaries, you know, since as of recording this, the 60th hasn't come out yet. You know, comparing this to the 5 Doctors, the 20th special, and the 3 Doctors, the 10th anniversary special, it ranks dead last to me. You know, the 5 Doctors is superior, and obviously the 3 Doctors, in my opinion, is the best anniversary special out there. So yeah, that has been my review of the 50th anniversary. That's gone on for, you know, 16 plus minutes. So let me know what you thought of this 50th anniversary of Doctor Who in the comments down below. And yeah, this is the last Doctor Who anniversary that I have to review until the 60th comes out. But not the last of Doctor Who that I'm reviewing. You know, I only just recently reviewed Series 7 of Doctor Who. I still have Series 8, 9, and 10 to do, because I've already done 11 to 12 in 2020, beginning of 2022. So I'm not really going to be revisiting that anytime soon. But that is going to wrap this up. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you soon, because on the 1st of September, I will be showing another scissor reel of what content, what movies, and some TV shows to expect me to review in the month of September. So I'll see you all on that upload.